What's up, everybody? What's up, MGTOW? So in this video, I'm going to be looking at the sexual trichotomy. Now, I drew up this chart to kind of show the three factors that determine or select for reproduction. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because obviously I got a little pushback on my Brifault's Law video, and people didn't seem to understand what I was saying was an objective fact and not my opinion. And so I'm going to use this chart to kind of more illustrate the fact of what I was saying is not my opinion and that it's actually a fact of what I'm saying. Okay, so if you look at the 3 points on the chart, you have environment, male competition, and female selection. Now, I was almost going to do a Sandman and put quotations around selection and then put female selection LOL, but since I'm already stealing the trichotomy chart from TFM, I think I'll save that for another video. Now, this is the most basic, bare bones version of this. There's a lot more things that I could add to this, but this is the basic thing that's laid out in Brifault's Law's own book. So I'm using basically his own theory to disprove his own theory. So, and the objective thing is that there's 3 points that determine the condition of the animal. Okay, so the reason why I put the environment at the top is because the environment supersedes the animal. So, for example, the animal is made completely of the environment, yet the environment is not completely made up of the animal. The environment will be there when the animal's not there. The environment was there before the animal was there. And so therefore, the environment is the largest determining factor of the condition of the animal. Period. If you want to use the word determine, or you can use the word selective pressure. But in this case, we can use the word determines because the environment determines the condition of the animal. Because if the environment doesn't even permit the animal to exist, you could pretty much say that that determines the condition. Okay, so if we go down to the right towards male competition, which in my view is the next selective pressure or the next determining factor of the condition of the animal, in between there, you can see that you have the economics of the food quest and RK selection. Now, I know RK selection isn't a perfect theory, and the life history theory is a better comprehensive theory about animals and their differences in eating patterns and the difference between like herbivores and carnivores and things like that. But I think the RK selection theory in general gives a good, representation of why predators hunt in packs and do certain things and herbivores are like the way that they are. And so you can see that here you have traits that basically interface with the environment that are dictated by the economics of the food quest. And the economics of the food quest is one of the main parts of male competition. So you can see right there that male competition is a determining factor of the condition of the animal. Because depending on the type of male competition and who wins the male competition will determine the condition of the animal. And that is also determined by the environment. Who will win the competition is determined by the interplay between the animal's traits that they're using to gain food through the food quest and male competition determine the condition of the animal. So then we can see that through male competition, some males will gain access to females as we're moving over to the left to quote unquote female selection, LOL. Now, the reason why I'm saying female selection, LOL, is because basically you can look at it this way. It's like, if I bring you to a video store, yeah, I remember when those used to exist, and there's thousands of movies on the wall, right? And then I bring you over to the horror section, and I say, well, you can either watch Freddy, Michael, or Jason, are you really selecting which movie? Are you really determining like what movie we're watching? If I present you with only 3 options out of millions of options, and I'm the one presenting you the options, who's more determinant in what movie we're watching? I mean, yes, technically you can say out of the 3 videos that I've given you to select from, oh, you've selected one of the 3 that I've given to you to select. So you can see where I'm going with that. It's like the environment causes male competition, and then through the male competition determines which men or males have access to the females, right? It determines that. Male competition determines which males have access to the females. The females don't determine the winner of male competition. The environment and traits determine the winner of male competition, not the female. Not the female. The environment and male competition determine which males have access to the females, right? Okay, so now female selection determines which offspring breed successively and which traits will then go on to interact with the environment, right? But then the environment again determines which of the born animals survives and gets to go on to repeat the successive breeding process of going through the environment, interacting with the environment with traits, then gaining resources through the economics of the food quest to go back to male competition, and then the males get access to the females through competition. Then the female selection LOL happens. Then the successive breeding happens again, and then again, the environment determines which traits, the condition of the animal, which traits are beneficial and which ones aren't, not the female. Again, the female doesn't determine that. So you can see how the female is actually the last step in a certain sense. I mean, each one of these steps has its own determining or selective factor to it. But the environment supersedes all. And secondarily, male competition is not determined by the female. So therefore, you cannot in any way, shape, or form claim that only the female and not the male. Note he said not the male. Maybe if he worded it different and said the female has some contribution that the male does not have, but when he says specifically that the female, not the male, determines the conditions of the animal family, that sentence is wrong. It is false. It's falsifiable, and I have shown that it is wrong. Because male competition is a determining factor in the condition of the animal family. The environment is a determining factor in the condition of the animal family, and female selection is also a determining factor in the animal family. So therefore, I've proven conclusively that the sentence, the female, not the male, determines the condition of the animal family is false. It doesn't matter if you say, well, guys, no, because the way that society's set up, male competition. It's male competition. It's not the female choosing. It's the male competition that's choosing which men have access, and that's what we're calling society. Part of society is what we're calling is male competition and female selection. Somewhere in between the environment, male competition, and female selection is what we call society. Where the traits are being selected for by nature or the environment, whatever you want to call it, and then male competition sorts out which males have the best traits for that specific environment at that specific time, giving them access to the females, which then the females then determine who successively breeds, and then the environment determines the conditions of the successive breeding. If it's a fail or if it's a win. So there's not one of these factors is the sole determining factor, as Briffault wants to put it, as if the female is the sole determining factor of the condition of the animal family, and it's not, because he's trying to put the female selection at the top of the pyramid. And he's wrong, and I've also proven that because, like I said before, the environment supersedes the animal, and so therefore the conditions of the environment are the main determining factor of the condition of the animal. Because like I said before, if the environment doesn't even permit the animal to exist, I would say that that's a determining factor. And again, male competition is a determining factor of who gets access to the females in the first place. So, like I said, female selection, LOL. But basically that's all I got for this one. I definitely will be adding more to this chart in the future because there's definitely some more points that I want to go over, but just wanted to give this most basic analysis so people can see that I'm not crazy, first of all, and second of all, they can see that what Briffault said is completely false. Completely. So that's it. Have a good day and go MGTOW.